Hey there, friends and enemies, Jopa here again, and today I need to talk about Dragon Age The Veilguard, as the embargo for early previews has officially been lifted, and a bunch of folks who have been able to play for around 7 hours got a chance to share their thoughts, and overwhelmingly these previews have been very positive, which is very exciting. And everything that we've gotten as far as updated information leads me to believe this is going to be the Dragon Age game that I've absolutely been wanting for 10 years or so. And while it might not be for everyone, I understand some might not like the direction. I personally think the game is looking like a Game of the Year contender at this point. So let me jump into the reasons why I believe that. Unfortunately, I don't have any new gameplay or anything like that, but I am excited to talk about what we learned. First off, the character customization options look absolutely incredible. They've described it as the most robust character creator they've ever done in a Dragon Age game. And while some people were initially put off by customized characters that we saw initially, specifically a Canary that had very smooth skin, that was a character that somebody made, and not everyone's going to like their preferences. But the screenshots we've seen today from the customized characters look absolutely incredible. There are so many really cool options that I am quite thrilled with personally, and it really does feel like you'll be able to make the Rook that you want to play as, which is awesome. There's a lot of things in there to really like, from the hair, which looks tremendous, some of the different tattoos you can put on your character. All of that will really combine, I think, to tie people up for hours and hours while they are making their own playable character. And that's something that a lot of people, whether it's Skyrim, a Dragon Age game, one of the main drawing points is they love to make their own character that feels special, unique, and fun to play as. So I am really looking forward to that. And that was something that I think a lot of people might have expected, but it's good to see that it does have very, very in-depth character creator, which sounds really awesome. A lot of the previews are very glowing with regards to that aspect. Another thing that I think has me incredibly excited is the combat. Now, a lot of people were concerned because we won't be directly controlling the companion characters. And not only that, but you also will only have 2 companions with you at any given time instead of 3. So a lot of people were thinking the combat was going to be dumbed down. It's also going in a more action-oriented manner than previous Dragon Age games, although I would argue that Dragon Age Inquisition was more of an action game than anything, and we've gone so far away from what Dragon Age Origins was that you can't really compare. I feel like this combat, from the looks of it, is an evolution of Inquisition rather than a complete reshaping of what we were trying to do. And so some of the things that I think are awesome is that you can get up to level 50 with your character and have this branching skill tree with multiple archetypes for your classes, and they all synergize well. One of the things that I've been really impressed with is the fact that when you have your Rook and your 2 companions, a lot of the abilities seem to play off of each other, and you're really looking to combo them. Much like in past Dragon Age games, you can essentially pause combat to give commands, but those commands are essentially just instant ability usages from your companions or from your own character as well. So you almost have a quasi-tactical menu, even though it's not the same as we've seen in past Dragon Age games. I think this is a better option. It might not live up to the standard quite of something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I thought was excellent as far as being able to juggle action combat with some of those pause command combat actions that you could see in a game like that. So I feel like it might not be quite to that level, but this is a different direction, and I think could serve the same purpose in a very good manner. Now again, not everyone's going to like this direction. Some people want it to go back to being more like Dragon Age Origins, but that's so long ago. I can't imagine that anyone who has enjoyed Dragon Age 2 and also Inquisition would argue that People forget Inquisition literally won Game of the Year when it was released in 2014, so it's unsurprising that they would continue to go in this direction rather than reverting to Dragon Age Origins. Now, some other things that I really like. It seems like the dialogue trees, the options that you have there are going to be pretty in-depth. They're all going to have a pretty large impact on not only your companions and the relationship with them, but also the wider world as well, which I think is what makes Dragon Age special. Your decisions having a massive impact on the world itself. So I'm really looking forward to that, seeing what factions you align with, what people you make happy or piss off, what characters you can romance. Now, the developers did say this is a rated mature game, and that means that some of the romances might get a little bit in depth, as you might expect. Maybe not to the level of Baldur's Gate 3, where you're able to hook up with a bear, but I do think there's going to be a lot of that in the game. Not only that, they've kind of resolved the concerns people had about the game not being bloody or gory enough, because I know having that is important for players for that realism, so they're not like swinging their sword and there's no effects or anything of that nature. Another thing that I really think sounds awesome is that all of the different classes will play different. They'll have their unique play styles. For example, the mage will have a bunch of flashy animations and attacks, but you can play close range or long range, a support character or a DPS character. Every class is going to have multiple options for play styles. So it's not like you're all going to be playing the same warrior rook who will feel like it has no unique aspects because of the branching skill tree, because of the different archetypes you can use with the classes, and because of the synergies with the companions that you bring as well. It does feel like there will be a lot of ways to make combat feel different depending on playstyle, class, upgrades, all that kind of good stuff. So I think that's awesome. It does seem like they're also going to be streamlining the map a bit compared to Dragon Age Inquisition, but still allowing for exploration and the discovery of items and side missions, companion quests, all that kind of good stuff. So a little bit of everything you would expect. Now, the reviews or previews that we've seen so far, like I mentioned earlier, were pretty glowing. That doesn't mean the game is going to be flawless. Some people still have concerns. I'm not worried about the anti-woke people who are saying that the game has DEI, all this kind of stuff that I think is irrelevant. If you're a fan of Dragon Age and have been for some time, you will understand the game has been inclusive. It has told quasi-political stories in the past, and so that's not something that anybody should be concerned with if you're looking forward to this game. I do feel like there's going to be a anti-woke mob out there who's going to complain about this game quite a bit, but I am not concerned about them, and I will not give their opinion a second thought, to be honest. As far as the game itself, it looks tremendous. I genuinely feel like it will be in the nominations for Game of the Year in 2024. And I really feel like this is going to be the next great RPG that a lot of people have been waiting for. And that's very exciting as a fan of the franchise, somebody who has enjoyed it from day one of Dragon Age Origins. They also talked about some things, they answered some questions, nothing too crazy. They didn't want to give away too much, but I do feel like they did reveal a little bit. They're focused on the main game right now, the base game, but it does sound like, as with past Dragon Age games, if the game does well, there will be DLC in the future, which is exciting. The DLC are awesome for Dragon Age more often than not, and they add a lot of layers to the story, which is really cool, or they really dive deep into certain companions, which is awesome as well. Other than that, I just can't wait to get hands on. I don't want to be spoiled too much, so I'm trying to juggle that. I won't spoil anything for you guys unless I give a warning, but I'll definitely be covering this game in depth going forward, so I do appreciate all the love and support. My name is Jopa. Have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all later.